Hey guys, welcome back to the episode of the Raft, the Deftspider. On this one, this will be episode 2. Just getting ready for the new update coming out on the 8th of October for chapter 2. Let me get to it first. So when you're floating around though, not only besides all the barrels and the wood and stuff you can collect, you'll occasionally come across these rafts that are just floating. Sometimes they're in the distance, so you have to use your sail to get to them, or your motors if you've made it that far. And when you get to these, make sure you have inventory space, and you'll find a crate on them. And a lot of times these will have recipes, schematics, and rare resources, and you just want to grab those. And like you see right there, we got a recipe, hinge, bolt. That's good stuff to get. And then once you grab that, typically these sink immediately. Not sure why that one's not sinking yet, but yeah, usually they sink. Maybe it's because I didn't step on it. So we'll jump on there real quick and see. Yeah, see, get back up here before Bruce gets us. Yeah, and so as soon as you get off of it, once you get the crate, it'll sink. But you'll find those scattered across the ocean as you're just floating, and you typically want to grab those as soon as you can. So we're gonna go back to floating as we're currently looking for an island. And since the last episode, as you can see, I haven't built anything new yet, just because I wanted to save it. But I have expanded the raft. Getting us a lot of food just by fishing while gathering. And I've cooked some of it up, and then the rest I've stored. I killed one shark, and typically when you kill a shark, it'll give you raw shark meat, which takes a while to cook on the small grill, especially because you only do one at a time. And then you'll get a shark head. And if you just watch him, you'll see the shark taking more damage slowly over time. There's this island over there, but I don't think we're floating that way. Let's see. Yeah, it's hard to tell based on the current, but we'll see if we can get to it real quick. Alright, so E to open, R to rotate. Kind of aim in the general direction, and you want to kind of flow with the current if you can. And if you change your directions, typically give it a second and the game will load more things in your path as you're floating. Yeah, it looks like we're headed in the right way. Typically, if you also if you look at this, you can see which way you're flowing and moving with the current, or with your motor and cells. But you can also build. Let's grab this real quick. Oop, missed it. But you can also build a little banner flag that'll show you the direction of the wind. And that's the way you're going to float. And you can also grab more air and wind to push you in the direction you want to go. Like, we don't want to miss the island, so we're going to try to head towards it. And when you get to the island, you don't want to just jump off your boat and start trying to harvest goods. You're going to want to build an anchor and anchor yourself. So that's found under the cell icon. And eventually you can get a better anchor, but the throwable anchor is a one-time use. So you need rope and some rocks, which we should have some rock. Here we go. So we'll craft that. I'm gonna put the rock back up. Get that fish out of there. Just slap that in there. Let's see, where are our potatoes? I guess we can throw him on the grill. Alright, and we're slowly headed in the right direction, so we'll adjust just a little bit. And you're gonna want to go to the islands because you can get wood, goods, you can find rare items. And these are just the small islands that you start off with, and later on you'll find even larger ones with more things to get, such as animals that you can capture if you have the right stuff. But as you see below us, more scrap metal, rocks. There was some clay right below us, but you can find metal and other things. So once we get here, we'll take the anchor. You're going to want to place it, typically not on one that's damaged. So hit R to rotate until it turns green, left click. Alright, and so we're kind of pressed against it. You can sometimes maintain this with just the cell, but I like to do the anchor because your raft can get away. So you pick it up by pressing E, and then you just drop it. Alright. So once we've done that, I like to check my food, make sure I'm good before I go on the island, especially if I have to swim some, because you don't want to get hungry and then be swimming really, really slowly. It reduces movement speed. Let's eat that. And we'll put the other one on the grill. Grab a little water. Get it started back up. Alright, and what we're going to do now is let's get a research table made. So we need some planks. And he's back again. Get out of here, son. Alright, so planks. Need 14, so we'll grab a stack, craft it, and we'll stack those back together. They go up to 20. And we max stack this rope just to get some inventory space back. When you craft an item, make sure it's on the hotbar so you can place it. Alright, and you want to try to keep your stuff centered so that he doesn't get to it when he destroys parts of your raft. Then you can hold R, rotate your mouse, or just move your mouse while holding R, and it will rotate the item. Alright, so once you've built your research table, what you want to do is have like a little bit of everything on you. So food, you don't need the food on you because you don't research that, but you just need crafting items like this goo right here that we found earlier. You're going to want a rock, a piece of rope, a piece of palm leaf. Alright, and then we'll go over here back to the research table really quick. Press E to open it. And then you're going to want to place items on here. So like for this hammock, you'd have to research all of these items to be able to build it. So you put like the goo up there, hit research, it will use that item, and then adds it as a researched item for future recipes. So we'll do scrap metal, take the stack back, plastic. Once it highlights with the learn, or once the learn button's here, you press that and you now know that recipe. So we learned how to make an empty bottle, which will allow you to hold more water. So put that back, do bolt, do a hinge, the rock. Let's see, I think we already did the plastic. What about, do we do rope? Yeah. So now we can make the metal fishing rod as well. Hit learn on that. We can make a rug now. Put the nail up there. Alright, and so yeah, you just want to do that until you start to learn all your recipes. So now we can make a chair, the medium crop plot, which you can plant, the lantern, which will provide you light at night, table, you can put decorations and stuff on your table. This trophy boards, or for when you kill certain creatures and get their heads, you can mount them to it. Some of the heads you can actually wear as a helmet. This will give a stone arrow, which will be really important later on. A bucket, also important later. Now this is the item you want to get as soon as possible, is the collection net. So when you can make these, it allows you, when your raft floats across the things floating in the water, it'll automatically collect stuff for you. Alright, so then learn the clock. This is the paint mill, which allows you to mix up paint if you want to paint your structures. A metal axe. A scrap hook. It's just a plastic hook with more durability. The bow, which you're going to need, it's a very important item. The net, which will allow you to catch bees. The bigger crate, so you can store more. Scarecrow to keep birds away when you plant crops, because they will come and destroy your crops. And then large crop plot, so you can plant trees. Alright, that sounded like the shark was trying to get on us again. So from there, then we just need to focus on getting the rest of these to make these other recipes. One of the first things you also want to start getting to is the advanced grill and the smelter. So for the smelter, we need dry brick, which we'll go over how to do that in just a second. So before I loot the island, I want to make sure I store stuff so I have room to loot. Probably should get a bigger crate. And let's get some more water because we're getting low. And some planks so we can start a fire. And then we'll just grab some of our already cooked food. Put it on your hot bar so you can eat it. And your water collector, eventually you can build a better one. You can build as many of these as you want. I'm just using 2 for now. because I plan to spec up really quickly into the more advanced schematics. Because once you get the grill and stuff, you can cook a lot more food faster. Alright, so we already have an axe made. Nope. And of course, he always goes to the worst possible location. You see how he's almost dying though, based on his wounds. Alright, so we'll jump off of here. Pull out our axe and harvest some trees. I always start with the top of the island and then I work my way down. Looks like there's probably going to be a cave on this one, or the loot's going to be underwater, deep off one of the sides. So you might want to build some shark bait, which will keep him distracted, but it's really temporary and I don't think it's really worth the cost of the food. Yeah, it looks like maybe a cave. Okay. So let's see, what else do we have? A mango tree. And then our axe broke, which is fine. So we'll go store some of this stuff really quick. And when it gets like stormy like this, you can wait if you want to and grab items as they pop through the raft. And we'll just store the... Actually, I think we have some of the food already. Yeah, there we go. And we'll swap this with the fish. Try to get all our stuff put into one spot. I'll store some of this just because I know and when you go underwater, you're gonna make sure you have a hook that's like got a decent amount of durability, because you'll need it to gather stuff. So we could go here, but Bruce will probably jump us. And we'll grab these watermelons on the way back. So typically, if you go to the opposite side of where the raft is, Bruce won't always come after you. It's not always true, but so here we can get sand and clay, rocks, scrap metal. So right there, that was the clay. Those are rocks. We don't really need rock right now. We could use a little scrap metal. You want to watch your oxygen bar because you will die, or you'll start taking damage once you run out. Alright, and then these are seaweed stalks. So if you see the glowing pieces, you can get seaweed off of it. And that's what you make the green goo with. These are copper nodes, which you need for batteries. And as far as the metal like copper and iron go, they're typically on the side of like this landmass. They'll be on the side of the walls. Like that's iron. Grab some oxygen, we'll get back down there and get it. But for clay bricks, you need to make or for dry bricks to make the smelter, you need clay and sand, which can be found around the island underwater. So just keep gathering all this up because you need 6 bricks to make a smelter. Well, technically you need 7 to make your first one because you need to research one of them, and you'll lose that 1 brick. Alright, let's see. What else do we got? And you can increase your oxygen by eventually researching into a scuba tank. And then you can also get fins or flippers, so you can swim faster underwater. Because some stuff will be located deep and way off the side. But typically, what I do is I gather all the iron and all the copper initially and seaweed until I get a good stock of it and what I need. So let's see, seaweed. And just always keep an eye out for Bruce. When you get to the bigger islands, there's more threats in the water. You'll have to watch out for pufferfish, especially when you're this far out from the main part of the island, because they will come and sneak up on you and they will explode and kill you. And typically, the best way to kill those guys is to use a bow and arrows. They can be killed with a spear, but you need to be really quick and know what you're doing. Alright, what else do we have? Some more seaweed. Let's grab this clay. this clay and sand. And usually it'll take you 2 or 3 islands before you can get your first smelter, depending on the quality of what you find around the islands. But the scrap metal you'll need to build nails with to help you build more chests and the smelter. And then once you build the smelter, you can melt your iron down and your copper down into ingots. Alright, is that... I still have some iron to get. But as you see, while you're doing this, your durability on your hook will go down. So eventually you're going to want to build scrap hooks that last longer, so you can get more done faster. Alright, we'll grab the rest of this. Like I said, rocks, you can get those if you want to, if you need some more to build some more temporary anchors. I think we're fine on them, because you get a bunch from the barrels that are floating around. So I just typically focus on scrap metal, the ores, sand, and clay. Alright, what else do we have? We have tons of scrap. Alright, and our hook broke, so without the hook you can't do anything else underwater, so we'll go back to the boat. Try to grab those watermelons, and then we're going to swim around a little bit and see if we can find the chest. Every island has a chest hidden somewhere. And we're moving slow because we're thirsty, so we might eat these watermelons. Yeah, he's a drama queen, he just sits there and whines the whole time. Start losing your vision. Alright, so we'll eat the watermelon, because it gives us a little bit of food and some water. Alright, now that we're back here, we should be able to go to our crafting menu, and we should be able to make some wet bricks, I believe, or do we need to research? Looks like we might need to research it first. Nope, there we go. And we're being attacked, it sounds like. Alright. So make your wet bricks. It's going to take 2 sand, 2 clay. You need 6 of those just for the smelter and 1 to research again. So just lay them out once they're made and let them dry. And we'll grab this and some plastic. Store this other stuff because we have no use for it right now. Let's see if we can build a bigger storage chest as well. So we need rope. So if you're crafting and you need something for it, you can just hover here and get the plus icon and press that, and it'll craft it if you have the necessary resources. And we need 1 hinge. I don't think we have any hinges. Alright, so yeah, it looks like we don't have any hinges. So we'll have to wait until we find one to make a better storage. So let's just make a regular storage. Place it down. And you can move these around and pick them back up once they're empty, just by pressing X. We'll put all our ore type stuff in there. Swap some of this around. Stack that coconut in there. You can stack your recipes too if you find extra. Alright, I didn't make the scrapbook, did I? See if we have enough plastic left for that. Tools, scrapbook, there we go. Alright, and then let's risk Bruce and see what we can find. So see, we have more metal and sand here, but Bruce will probably catch on to us pretty quick. That's our anchor. There's a clam. We can go ahead and grab it. That'll take but a second. Try to grab some of this. Maybe he'll leave us alone. Nope. Alright. And you regenerate hit points over time. As long as you have enough food and water in your system. So I'm thinking the crate's going to be where he's hovering around our raft. If you find bubbles underwater, like large air bubbles, you can hit those for more oxygen. I was hoping there was a cave or something. Let's see. I really want to get bit again. And sometimes he'll come through the graphics and the walls. They don't think you're safe just because you're there. Alright, let's see. We'll try to rapidly swim and see if we can find this. Because sometimes it'll be off the ledge in the deep water and you'll see some junk down there. I don't see any hint of it. There, we're in a bad place right now because we're so far away. I think we can take one more hit and then we're in trouble. Alright, let's see. Oop. And he's waiting on us. Oop, almost got me. Hey Bruce, can you go away, buddy? I'm trying to look for something here. Alright, well if he's not gonna be friendly, just go ahead and push back off when we start gathering more resources and food again. So to do that, you need to find your anchor, which I thought was over here. Why is it saying remove? I'm not looking at anything. Alright, so here's our anchor. Hang out the side. Hold E to remove it. And then you should start floating again. If not, check your sail. Make sure it's angled right. Or you can press E on your sail and your raft should start creeping away again. If you get stuck or whatever like we did on episode 1, you can just, paddle away. Alright buddy, get on out of here. We are done with you, sir. Just looking to see if I see the crate. I'll jump in and grab it if I do. And I don't. Alright, so on the way back, we'll try to get some more of this stuff put together. Alright, so he's done some pretty good damage to us. So if you look at these, you can see they're cracked, showing that they've been damaged. So if you go to your hammer and right click, and while holding right click down, just go down here and hover over repair. And it's cheaper to repair than it is to build new. Just costs a few planks. Right, and so while you're floating, if you want, just take out anything new you've got and check and make sure that it's not going to be used for research purposes. So we'll come back here, take that stack of wood out, we'll put a piece of copper up there, not used for anything. Seaweed, research it. Sand maybe, nope. And check the iron, nope. And then the clam. And research that. So we can learn the bird's nest and flippers. And then some of this stuff like the antenna and the receiver, you need to find the recipes first before you can spec into it. Let me grab this, that. Throw my little hook out. And typically while you're gathering, and once you get your, if you build your raft in a long straight line, once you get the option to steer, you can spin it and get it facing back in the direction that you would like. Alright, so now that we have some more wood, let's do some more repairs really quick. Then you hit tab if you want to. Hit right click and you can go back to here to build the little floats. to get your raft size put back together. And besides that, you just float and keep going. So while you're floating though, if you're just floating, gathering, waiting to find another island or another raft for more recipes and parts, because like in our case, a hinge would be really useful right now. Oh, here we go, get some dry bricks. So just grab those, run over here, slap it in here, do a little research, and then we can learn to make the smelter. Alright, so once we get 4 more bricks, we can build that. Let's see, don't we already have iron somewhere? No, okay. And the reason I put these items together, like these will be used to make nails. The copper, the seaweed, and the metal ore, you'll want to put those on the smelter once you build it, and that'll give you your ingots and your goo. So let's see, what else do we need? We have some more sand. Stack it in here for now. Like this. And typically you always want to try to keep extra resources with you. Alright. Plenty of rope. Alright, so once you have your fishing pole though, so like we're floating here and gathering, you just throw it out to fish, and you can still pick stuff up as you go. So you can multitask gathering food while gathering items to keep building your raft out. And my guy's thirsty and hungry and cranky. Grab some salt. Oh, we don't need it. Alright. And make sure you don't drink the salt water, because the salt water will like kill you. Not like right off the bat, but it'll take away your thirst. Put some planks down. Select your fish, place him down. Get him cooking. We already have some food made though, so we'll go ahead and eat. Pretty much I'm saving all this to cook recipes with. And like your bigger fish, the catfish and the salmon, you cannot cook that until you get the larger grill made. So let's grab this so we can have a snack. Hit him a few times. I always like to keep 2 spears because your 1 spear is going to break before it can do enough damage to get him off. Like I think you can use it 2 or 3 times and then it's going to break before the next time. It always leaves you with like 1 to 2 hits. And then you just keep gathering and fishing. So, like I said, always try to keep a fishing pole on you. I don't have a rope, but and you always want to get the barrels. They're full of recipes and food, planks, plastic, scrap metal, rocks, potatoes, beets, all the good stuff. But the bigger you build your raft, the easier it is to collect stuff. And then, like I said, eventually, when you get the nets, you can just put the nets on it, and anything that floats into the raft will be gathered automatically. So you don't have to spend the whole game like getting a little at a time. I might have missed that one. Nope, missed it again too much. But yeah, I prioritize getting the barrels over everything else because you just get so much more. Typically, unless I really need plastic or something, it's usually the only thing I do is with my hook, besides being underwater. Alright, probably doing pretty good on resources now. So we can get this last one. Right, let's do some quick repairs. Alright, buddy, I know something's messed up. Here we go. But yeah, you want to always try to keep water and food going. And let's see, we can cook tilapia while we're floating. And yeah, that's pretty much how you get started, guys. If you watch my first video and this video, you should get off to a pretty good start and not die and flounder around trying to figure out what to do. And as you come across new items, just research. So like the ingots and stuff, like I said, you can't do those until you get the smelter. Once you research those, and like here's your scuba tank or oxygen bottle. But yeah, once you make your first metal ingot, throw it on here, hit research, and then you'll learn a lot more recipes, and just slowly keep moving through it and progressing. And once you've researched the first 2 items or ingots and stuff, you should unlock most of your recipes. But certain things you won't get until much later in the game. So like your leather and your wool you won't get until you start catching animals like llamas, and then you'll need shears to shear them. Feathers, you'll make bird nests out of clams, and the birds will eventually come, land out, and they leave behind feathers. Honey, you use the net and you can catch. Bees, and you can build your beehive to collect honey from. You can gather honey from the bees on the islands. Eggs you'll get when you catch like dodo birds and put them on your boat, and they'll lay eggs over time. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And like I said, the update's coming out on the 8th for chapter 2. This is just a quick tutorial refresher for anybody who's new, just starting out, or hasn't played in a while. And if y'all don't mind, like, subscribe, leave some comments below if you have any questions, anything you want to see, need help with something, just feel free to ask, or you can catch me on Twitch. Thanks for the support, guys, and I will see y'all next time.